Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Aamir Abbas, and today, once again, I'm here with you people with my 10 minutes live stream, which will be a very short live stream at the most of 10 minutes. And today, I'm going to talk about a very important topic whenever you are starting your research work. That is the PICO criteria for formulating your research. Uh, Without any further delay, I'm going to jump directly to the topic. What is a PICO criteria? PICO is an acronym, and that acronym means PICO, and that can also be PECO. I'm going to talk about that in detail in the subsequent slides. So that acronym PICO stands for population, I stands for intervention, C stands for comparison, and O stands for outcome. And depending on the study design, if it is non-experimental studies, then it can be PECO, where P stands for population, E will stand for exposure, C will stand for comparison group, and O will stand for outcome. So what do we mean by population? If we talk about the population, whenever you formulate your research question, then these components, which are the population, intervention, or exposure, comparison group, or outcome, should be explicitly stated in the stem of the research question. One thing I will emphasize over here, whenever we are talking about research question, they are mostly not explicitly stated, but they are working like a conceptual framework at the back end whenever we are designing our research work, whenever we are stating our objectives in the manuscript. But they are rarely stated in the manuscript they're never stated as a manuscript in the form of a question, and sometimes they're stated as a question in the research proposal. So that is something which I want to explicitly clarify. So whenever we're talking about a research question, these components are, that is population, intervention, comparison group, and outcome, should be explicitly stated. And when we're talking about the population, in the stem of the research question, you need to be explicitly clear about whether you're talking about a normal population or the disease population, right? You need to be explicit about the age, gender, ethnicity of the group on which you are doing the study. If you are talking about a diseased population, whether or or the normal population, it's also important that you specify whether you plan to take the sample or the population from the community or the hospital. And if you plan to take it from the hospital, whether you plan to take the inpatient or the outpatient population. So these points are needed to be explicitly clear. If you're talking about an interventional studies, then I stands for intervention. And whatsoever intervention we're talking about, we need to be explicitly clear about the intervention, the timing of the intervention, the dose of the intervention, the route of administration of the intervention, the duration of therapy. If it is a non-interventional study, then PECO will apply for the PICO criteria, and E stands for exposure. Again, the timing of the exposure is important. What is the dose of the exposure we are studying, and what is the duration of the exposure we are talking about? So that is important. Again, the C stands for comparison group over here. For example, whenever we are talking about an interventional study, we can compare it to placebo, to standard therapy, or no treatment. And whenever we are talking about non-interventional study, then the comparison group can be either exposed can be compared to the non-exposed individuals, or diseased individuals can be compared to the non-diseased individuals. And the last O in the PICO criteria stands for outcome. In the case of the interventional studies, we may be interested in specific measures of morbidity or mortality. And in the case of non-interventional studies, the disease under study is the outcome in the PICO criteria. It may be a bit confusing, so I'm going to talk about this in a few examples. And those of you who are online right now, I will request you people to stay with me till end. So this is a study which was published in Lancet Psychiatry, and I'm going to put in the link of this study in the description as well if you want to go and study this paper in detail. But this study was the title of the study is to check the association between antidepressant treatment and brain connectivity in 2 double-blind placebo-controlled clinical trials, a treatment mechanism study. There's a lot of detail, but the research question, one of the research question which can be identified in the methods of this study is what is the effect of duloxetine as compared to placebo on symptoms of depression among adults with persistent depressive disorder. We are going to dissect this question on the basis of the PICO criteria. The population as highlighted in this research question will be adults with persistent depressive disorders. The intervention here, we are talking about duloxetine. The comparison group, as stated, it will be with a placebo, and outcome here is the researchers are trying to assess the effect of duloxetine on symptoms of depression. So this is how you are going to apply the PICO criteria. Whenever you are designing a research question or research work, these points are needed to be taken care of. We are going to take another example, which is a non-interventional study. This was a study again published, and the title of this study is Interpersonal Connection Mediates the Association Between Personality and Addiction. One of the research questions which was identified from the methods of this study is that, is there an association between neurotic personality and internet addiction among adults aged 20 to 30 years of age? The population in this research question is adults with an age of 20 to 30. Exposure is the neurotic personality. The comparison here, in the case of the non-interventional studies, the comparison group is not often stated explicitly, as we can see over here. It is implicit. So we can say that you are comparing neurotic individuals with those who are not neurotic, who do not have any neurotic personality. And the outcome over here is the internet addiction. So this is all for the time being, and I have to emphasize that whenever you're designing your research question, you need to be careful of following or applying this PICO criteria in the stem of your research question. I will see you tomorrow when another topic in this 10 minutes live stream. If you like this video, please give me your feedback in the comments. Please share this video, and please do not forget to subscribe my YouTube channel. Take care for the time being. Bye.